Hello and welcome, everybody. A beautiful Friday morning to you, beautiful wonders all around the globe. My name is Lisa Jans, and you also know me as Job Coach Germany. And as you can see, I'm not here on my own today. I have an expert on my side today. His name is Viktor Popov, and he is the co founder of Asteroid. Hello, and a warm welcome to you, Viktor.
Hello, Lisa. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. And hello to everyone watching around the world, I guess.
Yes. So it's really, really kind of you that you take the time to talk to me today. And for everybody that is watching, I just wanted to let you know if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment and then we will take some time to dive into your questions. Now, let's start with with the background of what you have experienced basically with Asteroid especially. So Asteroid is a platform that connects and empowers students, right? And I've seen from your website and from this platform that you cover all sorts of questions. So it's not just about helping students with regards to finding a job, but it's basically a guide and a helping hand for students throughout their entire studies, right? So you share, for example, tips on job search and also application support. Then also you have these really cool mentorship sessions where you can go through the CV or also do mock job interviews. And we will probably dive into that a little bit more. But what I really like as well is that you have a very personal approach as well, because you're sharing also like book recommendations and podcasts, and that is obviously something that follows or accompanies students in their private life as well. So it has doesn't have to do anything with their studies, but with life in Germany in general. So this is where my first question is: what is your background, Victor? So how you, I mean, you are an international who has also lived in Germany and experienced life as a student in Germany. How did that happen? How did you decide to come to Berlin?
I have a very diverse background, you can say. I'm originally from Moldova in Eastern Europe, and I spent most of my time in Dublin, Ireland, where I grew up. And
Okay.
during that time, I've had a thing for languages, you can say. I found them quite easy to learn. And we came across a German school, not necessarily where all the courses were taught in German, but just a very intense German school while I was there. So I have a bit of a stronger connection with Germany than I would any other country in Europe. And while I was there, I spent a few weeks in Stuttgart as a teenager, just on an international exchange. And
Okay.
then in 2016, I went on to study my master's in Heidelberg, not in the
Ah,
Heidelberg Uni, but in an international university there. Beautiful city, by the way. I can't
yeah.
wait to go back. And during that time, I managed to have my first job. Nothing too fancy, working in a bar or working as a retail assistant, just to keep going while I was doing my master's. Then I
Mhm.
moved around a bit more and came back to Berlin, or rather went back to Berlin in 2018.
Okay.
I'd more or less had enough of life in Dublin and decided to try something new. So I just quit and moved to Berlin, no job, nothing. And
Mhm.
within 3 months, managed to go from, well, being jobless to starting my first steps in recruitment, which was an interesting
Wow.
experience. And
Yeah.
yeah, I lived there for just under a year and I've been based out of Brussels since.
Ah, yeah, okay. And now that shows me that you have seen quite a bit of Germany already, having lived in Stuttgart and Heidelberg and Berlin. Um, would you like to share maybe your favorite spot in Berlin that people should go to, that they should visit?
Yeah, there are a few slots. Of course, it depends on what your interests are. If you're looking for nature, obviously the Tiergarten and the Grunewald are absolutely beautiful and very easy to get to.
Okay.
And if you really like food, I think the first place I would go when I go back to Berlin is Windburger in Charlottenburg. It's right
Yeah.
by the Bahnhof there. Very good burgers. And then just if you really want a taste of traditional German culture, walk into the first Eckkneipe you see, and that's exactly what you need from German culture.
Yeah,
It's
that
something
sounds
I've been
really,
missing
really
since I
cool.
moved out. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can relate to that. This is very, very typical for Berlin as well. And I remember a couple of times because I'm based in Magdeburg, which is like 1.5 hours southwest of Berlin. And it's yeah. When I visit Berlin, these Eckkneipen are really, really a thing that everybody has to experience. I was so surprised how cheap the beer actually is, how cheap beer can actually be. Yeah, but that's a different story. So that's a very good tip. Thank you very much for that. And now you obviously you are the co-founder of Asteroid, but you also said that you are a that you are have a background in recruiting. So you're a
Mhm.
global talent acquisition specialist, right? So
Yep.
how did you find that interest in recruiting? Was it just because there was a job opening, or have you always been interested in that sense?
I mean, I'll be very honest. The first reason I got into recruitment was because I was frustrated with all the rejections I was getting. I was
Yeah.
trying to understand what's happening, what's going on, who are these
Oh,
recruiters, and why do they keep rejecting me? So I wanted
yeah.
to see from the other side to really see what recruitment actually is. So purely selfish reasons. But
That's so smart.
I haven't been able to leave in 4 years, so you could say I've developed quite a passion for it. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working on, I started with just entry-level jobs for rather customer care, you can say. And for
Hmm.
the past 2 to 3 years, I've been focusing on really senior executive roles. So
Okay.
I've had quite a broad spectrum, you could say, of clients, of recruitments, and of projects.
Yeah. And from your studies, I assume that you've studied anything in the yeah, area of like management, business, this
Um,
sort of thing.
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm a Quereinsteiger in the purest sense. I studied,
Oh, good.
yeah, I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in international relations.
Okay, but
So
that's
the business
brilliant
world is
for
really,
HR.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's a perfect combination for recruiting. This is actually the kind of recruiter that I would be very afraid of if I were to meet you in a job interview, because the psychological background gives you a huge advantage. I had one job interview. Oh, I can't remember now. It's probably 6 years ago or something like that, and that was conducted by a psychologist, and I felt I was drilled because of the psychological ways how he was able to manipulate me to really stress me out. But I got a job offer in the end, so that's still fine. um, so this is really interesting because here I see definitely a connection. It's kind of like we are colleagues, right? Because you have the background in HR, and it's the same what I have experienced. For me, I always wanted to work with people. So when I was studying business and management, just knew, okay, this field of human resources just really interests me, so I want to go into that field. But at that time during my bachelor's, I didn't know how vast this field actually is. But then when I started working within an HR department and started recruiting, I also was able to see the background. And that's why I'm working as Job Coach Germany, because obviously I've seen it from the other side, like you. And this is so helpful that you can now use that as well and help students to find a job and prepare them better. So it's kind of like we have a shared mission, a shared way of just simply showing the other side so that applicants actually understand what is going on. So, from your time having lived in several cities in Germany, were there any cultural misunderstandings that you came across?
Yeah. I mean, there are always cultural misunderstandings. I'm quite fortunate here in that the German mentality is actually very similar to the Eastern European one. We have a similar way of communicating. We're equally pragmatic. But even then, when I was just starting my career in Germany, I found myself feeling attacked very often by just the German directness. And when you make a
Yeah,
mistake in a professional setting, I mean, there are a lot of political ways to say it, but in Germany, my experience has been, look, this is wrong. I'm going to show you how to do it correctly, and please don't do it next time, which is meant in the most constructive way. But the way it's delivered sometimes to a non-German is very, okay, I'm sorry. So
yeah,
I think that was the biggest one. And then, I mean, I'm sure everybody in Germany has had these experiences with the old Germans staring at you for being a bit too flexible with the rules or
yeah.
crossing at a red light or those
Oh,
small
yeah.
things that we're all very familiar with outside of Germany. But no,
Yeah.
luckily, because I have the Eastern European background as well, it was quite easy for me to understand where Germans were coming from.
Yeah, and it's really funny that you say that because whenever I'm abroad and see people jaywalking and just crossing that red light, I always see, oh, now they know I'm German because I'm waiting here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But as you say, the directness, I think that's the biggest problem for internationals who come to Germany. And also when Germans go abroad, I've heard that of colleagues of mine when they are trying to be direct and people feel offended right away. But I think it's just a matter of getting used to it. And then once you've gotten used to it, it's actually very pleasant. That's what a lot of people say because you know a lot easier how to deal with them because with us, because obviously we are direct and say, okay, this is wrong, this is okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. But what I'm actually missing is a little bit of like appreciation. I think that our bosses could be a little bit more appreciative and saying like you've done a good job. So
mm,
this is something that I have experienced when I was, for example, in England. That was a really great time. Coming back to Germany, it just feels like why is everybody so impolite? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And I mean
Okay.
there's a very big difference between the British working culture and the German one. And when I went from Dublin, I mean I had that environment, and then all of a sudden I was in Germany. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry for not being perfect, but really, what the more you move around, the more you get used to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you start speaking the same language, quote unquote. Not
Yeah.
really, but
Yeah.
just understanding how they communicate and why they're communicating.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really really good that and it gives hope that you can get accustomed to that. So this is really really helpful for everybody out there to know, yeah, the directness is there, but you can get used to it and it's actually quite nice. Um so let's dive more into the topic of Asteroid, your
Mhm.
really cool platform for students. Why did you see the need for Asteroid?
So I'll give a bit of history on how I joined Asteroid in the first
Yes,
place.
please.
I studied together with Amirali when we were at Schiller back in 2016, 2017. We went our separate ways, and then I just saw a post on LinkedIn that he shared that they were doing a workshop, and I started deep diving a bit on what exactly Asteroid was doing, and decided, hey, I'm a recruiter. I like Amirali, might as well pitch in and see what the workshop. And it
Yeah,
starts like that: one workshop, one project, and before I know it, I mean, I'm completely sold on the idea and pushing it. But I think our main motivator, which is shared both from our time at Schiller and the other universities we've been at, is we see a real lack in what universities are doing to support their alumni. Very
yeah,
often, especially for small institutions, they do absolutely nothing. And even
yeah.
myself, I went to one of the and historically one of the largest universities in Dublin, and they've
Mhm,
still done virtually nothing to promote me as an alumni, to help me find my career. And that's
mhm.
really the gap that I think Asteroid is bridging quite well. I mean,
Yeah.
where students or former students speaking to students, helping them understand. And
Mhm,
where I found myself after my studies was just Googling jobs in Germany or jobs in X country. And I really would have needed a lot more structure and somebody to explain, these are the careers you can go into, these are your options, I mean, this is what you should have done 2 years ago, this is how you fix it. And that's really what we're trying to bridge here, or what the foundation of Asteroid is, to bring that knowledge to the student body.
yeah, yeah, and it's also a lot more helpful because it's working some sort of like a peer group level because people can relate more to you because you've been the student, you've come from the same direction, so they can relate a lot easier to you rather than, for example, an outsider or a German who hasn't done or hasn't had that experience studying there, for example. Yeah, so this is really really helpful. And so with your platform, what can student expect on how can they use Asteroid?
Yeah. So Asteroid, I mean, we're trying to become the one-stop shop for internationals in Germany, focusing, I mean, on students and focusing on career. It's kind of a historic or a legacy thing. When Asteroid started, it was just a community within one university for international students to exchange. It was a weekly meeting, and then COVID happened, everything went online. And I
Mhm.
really noticed that the most popular topics were really the career ones. So we
Okay.
decided to take Asteroid in that direction. So right now, I mean, as a prospective Asteroid member, what we offer is a dashboard, which gives you then various templates, checklists, a lot of small documents that can really help you prepare yourself for interviews. If you're somebody that likes to learn by themselves. So
Yeah.
everything's online, it's self-paced. We also offer a variety of mentorship, whether
Mhm.
it's a 1 hour mock interview with myself or Amirali, where you give us a job and we take you through it and really grill you, like that psychologist recruiter did for you,
Yeah.
or just general mentorship sessions on where do you see your career going, what are your qualifications, what are the gaps, how can we help you. And aside from that, we have compiled what we call student resources. It's
Mhm.
essentially a collection of not Asteroid branded content, so not stuff that our content team have created, but really just a collection of what both ourselves and our students have found helpful to give more and as much as we can. I mean, time is limited, unfortunately, so I can't write all of the content I have in my head, but somebody else has written it and somebody has
Yeah.
written it better than I could. So,
Yeah.
really trying to increase the reach of that material and make sure that everybody has access.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, we focus mostly on career, but we're also partnering with Example Hired, who offer a job searching platform dedicated to students. So there you
Okay.
plug in your degree, you plug in the type of job you're looking for, short term, long term, and it's
Mhm.
really has much more student friendly filters.
Mhm.
And upcoming in development, we are looking at partnering with a company that specializes in English or international, you can say, Shufa free rentals, all online, no scams, no problems.
Good.
So that's incoming if you guys want to
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that.
Oh, that sounds really, really interesting and also very helpful because obviously, if you are in Germany and Germany is a different country, I mean, it would be this question is even difficult for Germans. If you are in yeah a student and have not rented anything outside your student apartment, for example, there is always a possibility that you can come across scams. And this is really, really helpful because this is something that we don't learn in school. No, we don't learn it in school, and also internationals who come to Germany obviously don't know how the German renting market or like apartment market is working, property market is working. So this is actually very helpful where I see this benefit also outside of this career world. So that's a great idea. It's really, really cool. And now, having gone through this process yourself of finding a job in Germany and having studied in Germany, is there one thing that you can recommend to people who are trying to find a job next to their studies? What should they do? Should they just simply sign up through your platform?
We don't have this magic database of jobs that we can give to people. I wish we
Yeah,
did. What we can do is really help people, give them a good direction, and give them the skills they need. Because it's really unfortunate to have your dream job and just miss out on one interview question, to give an extreme example,
yeah,
or to incorrectly format your CV that automatically disqualifies you.
yeah,
Those are the things we want to avoid, aside from helping you understand really what your qualifications are, what your dream job could be. But if you are looking for a side gig next to your studies, please do visit our platform. You can look through all of the mentorships. We have a variety of free workshops as well if you'd want to develop your general skills and understand that a bit better. And of course, we have one upcoming project we have is we're working on sort of free speed dating career advice. So you
hmm
block 15 minutes with myself or Amirali. We take you through everything quite quickly, and we try to identify the problem or
mm,
identify what the best pathway going
yeah.
forward is. So
And
really, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I just wanted to say this is very helpful because that's also something that I see most of the time. Sometimes job seekers don't even know where to start and where their problem is. So having these 15-minute sessions is actually very helpful, and people can then realize, oh, this is actually where I have to focus on. So whether that's writing CVs or whether that's preparing for the job interview or whether that's I want to have a career change, or I don't even know how to define my career. I don't even know what I'm supposed to look for. Yeah, this is also something that I see across students a lot, that they have studied a particular course and they have these options of sectors where they can work, but the actual job titles are really confusing. And that's why I always recommend people to go for the tasks as well. So take a look at, if you're looking at the job ads, that you are looking at the tasks and take a look at, can I do that? And are these tasks fun for me or not? Yeah. So this is very helpful. So what would you say is the most fun for you when working with Asteroid? What's fun about this platform for you?
I mean, when you're looking at, I mean, the most fun part of the platform or the job in and of itself is really getting to talk to different people. I mean, I interview who knows how many people a week, but it's
Mhm.
nice to speak to people that actually want to learn, or
Yeah.
people that are there to be grilled, that understand the nature of the exercise and really want to develop themselves. But really, what the main fun of Asteroid is that I'm working with a great team of volunteers. I mean, we're all volunteering here at Asteroid, and
Yeah.
I've not seen this kind of work ethic anywhere. Where
Oh
our team,
wow.
and I mean, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
anybody's listening, but shout out to you guys. They're really there to help students. They're
Mhm.
there to provide that content, and I mean, it really changes the dynamic when you know there are people behind who are working towards a goal. They're not just there for a paycheck and they'll log off at 5 p.m.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah, there is as you say, I can totally support that idea that there is a different dynamic because it's obviously an yeah, intrinsic motivation behind that and
Yeah.
not just the paycheck. That's really really interesting and very very cool because then it's so much more mm, how do you say that? It's like yeah, people can relate to you a lot more, I think, rather than thinking, okay, they just want to make money with it. And what do you think is the most difficult for the students?
I think it's, I mean, I can only speak from my experience and from the people I've been speaking to, but it's
Hmm.
really a lack of understanding. And
Yeah,
it's not for want of trying, but it's an understanding you can only get once you've been on the inside. Once you've
yeah,
successfully gone through a process, you start to speak with this, start to speak with peers, speak with different managers, understand really what's going on there. But really, that understanding is what we're trying to bring because not everybody can work as a recruiter or not everybody goes through a hiring process early. And I think that, I mean, for me, that was the real killer, not really understanding who a recruiter is, what their role is in the process. And
hmm,
that is one, luckily, a very easy gap to bridge. It just takes some
yeah.
attention and somebody willing to share that expertise.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense, and it's and I hear a big shout out as well. I just want to make sure that you are aware of the fact that you should give it some thought, and there is help out there. The Asteroid can help you guys to understand this process and the standards, how to apply for jobs in Germany, a lot easier. So just make your appointment today. So because obviously sometimes people are a little bit naive and they have to go through so many applications until they get to that frustrating point of why don't I get any replies. Yeah, and only when they get to that point, that's when they're searching for help. But you can start earlier. There is this platform that you can use. And so when there are students or people in general thinking about studying in Germany, but they are hesitant, what kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah. I think introspection is your biggest tool here. So I'd advise anybody in that situation to take a step back and ask themselves why. Why this course? Why Germany? And if you can't come up with a good answer beyond this is my only option, there might be a problem there.
Yeah.
And the answer itself will not only help you understand yourself a bit better, but it will help you structure your first steps. If it
Mhm.
comes to, I want to relocate to Germany, live in this particular city or region, and work in this field, those are the milestones that you can set for yourself once you go through Germany. But
Mhm.
really, just don't stop yourself. I did the same mistake. Don't stop yourself at, I want to move to Germany for this course, and then I'll figure it out from there. Because it
Mhm.
didn't have a good impact on me, and I doubt it will have a good impact on a lot of you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's also very important because a lot of people sometimes think, okay, I just simply want to go to Germany and study there because it's for free, and this is something that people need to be aware of. It's not just completely free. Are always administration costs, for example, involved, and all of these things. So it's not just like this strange bubble in your head. Oh, cool! I go to Germany and studying is for free, but you still have to make sure how to finance yourself, like how to finance your flat and also how to find a flat. This, I think, what you just said to ask yourself why is very, very important. And if you have answered this question for yourself, you can see whether you're burning for coming to Germany and relocating here or not. So this is very, very, very helpful advice. Now, one more question regarding your kind of like a, I mean, you have a double position, right? I mean, you are the co-founder of Asteroid, and you say that your team is consistent, or they consist of lots of volunteers, but you're also this talent acquisition specialist. How can you combine both positions? Is it a really, really difficult for you, or is it just easygoing?
I mean, it really depends on the personality. When we're looking at Asteroid as a whole, it's a question of adding 1 to 2 hours to your workday during the week, or
Yeah,
blocking one particular Saturday just to get everything done through,
yeah.
as a whole. I'm somebody who likes to keep busy all the time, so it really doesn't cause a problem for me. And again, it's seeing the work ethic of everybody we work with, seeing the impact that we're having on our students when we do reach them. It
Mhm.
makes that extra 2 hours after a 9 hour workday worthwhile.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay. And I mean, obviously, a very structured personality probably helps a lot because then you can get everything, yeah, under one roof, basically. But I think it's very admirable that you can do both. So this is really, really great. And it's a great, as you said earlier, also a great. Um, combination of both, like seeing, like being the recruiter, but then also seeing people who are really wanting to learn how the process is working. And I guess this is a great reward for you. Now, you say that you're based in Brussels. Are you intending on moving anywhere else in Europe at some point?
I mean, I'm never really going to settle, and I can't
Yeah,
plan for more than a couple of years. So for now, I'm
yeah.
happy here, but who knows what'll happen 2 years from now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's the same for me. That's always what I say. Really cool. Okay, so what is very important for the people that are watching this video, whether they are watching with us now or later, where can people actually find you guys, like Asteroid itself?
Yeah. So the main place to find us is, I mean, on our website, myasteroid.de. And
Mhm.
that's where once you sign up, you'll have access to a dashboard that gives you an array of services. Everything from free content to paid self-learning to all of our mentorship hours, the CV checks that we have, and it will also give you access to a Discord server that we've recently set up. And that
Oh,
Discord is there for, I mean, we have a main space for anyone to ask general questions, share experiences. We have a study lounge. If you're the kind of person that needs an accountability partner, we have a general lounge. And we host monthly Q&As there where Amrali and I dedicate some of our time just to answer everybody's questions. Again, all this is free. So
mhm.
really, by going to our website, signing up for the dashboard, you can see all levels of what we can offer you. From the really hands-off, here's the content and self-learn
Mhm.
if that's what you want, to our employment readiness program, which is a 6-week block, you can say, where myself and Amrali, through seminars, group work, one-on-one sessions, really take you through everything. Career
Yeah,
planning, CV building, interview techniques, onboarding, all of that. We actually have a batch starting on May 15th, so if anybody would like to sign up, we have a few places left. So
perfect.
I'll direct you to the website. You can find it really clearly under the programs page. And then for all of our other social media presence, we do have Asteroid Germany on Instagram, which is
Mhm.
one of our biggest community. We have a great team there posting content, stories, memes, anything to get you through the hunt for a career. And we also have a channel on YouTube where Amrali goes through different topics like relocating
Yes.
to Germany, visas, finding housing, do's and don'ts during an interview. And finally, of course, we have the free database I mentioned earlier, the studentresources.de, where you can
Yeah.
check not necessarily Asteroid content, but stuff that at least has our quality stamp, you can say.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And I will make sure to post all of the things that you've just mentioned underneath this video. So I remember that when I prepared our little talk, that I already put in a couple of links to your site. However, I think it's very important that you've mentioned this program that is starting on 15th of May. I will make sure to link that below as well again later on. So
Very good. Thank you.
you all make sure that you use this platform. It's here for you, and it's here to help you guys, whoever is seeking a job, or whoever needs accountability partners for studying. Oh, I wish I would have had a platform like that when I was studying. It would have helped so much, to be honest. Victor, is there anything else that you would like to share with the people that are watching?
No, I think the questions you've been having are very insightful. I know Asteroid is. I mean, we're quite new. We're 2 to 3 years old. We're really learning, and I mean, like you just mentioned with the study lounge, you wish you had it. That's how
Yeah,
we're structuring it. These are the things I wish I would have had as a student.
yeah,
These are the things I wish I was told 4 years ago because it would make my
yeah,
life easier. So, regardless of what your questions are, regardless of how you learn self-paced, or you really want somebody there with you every minute of the way, we'll do our best to be there for you if we're not already. So I'd
yeah.
appreciate you guys giving us a visit, letting us know what you think. Even if any services are missing, we're always happy to talk.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Victor, for taking the time to guide us through your platform, Asteroid. And a shout out to the team, to Amirali, and all the rest of your volunteers. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and hopefully, we can do that sometime again in the future. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today.
And thank you for sharing your audience with me. Have a good day, everyone.